I reached out to some connections that I had in school and was referred to you. The first thing I did was book that discovery call, and I was very impressed with just the few tidbits that you gave me, and I was interested in more. And then when I decided to move forward and join the group calls, that is when everything shifted. I would say right before I started working with you, I was overwhelmed, chronically stressed. I felt like I was putting things out into the business space, trying to meet with people, and nothing was landing. And I had my first moment of clarity in terms of programming and structuring programs and working with clients after our first call. I remember that like it was yesterday.
Yeah, I remember when you first started, we created your wellness packages and you converted really well off those consults and into your packages.
The idea of packages was relatively newer to me. What I loved about our time together was not only were you coaching me through the business side of why it's profitable and create streamlined income to create packages, but also that actually supports sustained wellness and healing with clients. So even just the way that we came about the packages, you didn't throw arbitrary numbers out to me. You said, okay, let's talk about what clients are coming to you for and how long do you think they'll need support for? And so we created 3 different packages, and the largest package is actually the most popular option, which has been great for me. And so when I have more time to spend with a client, they really start to feel, see, think all about their differences, and they become stronger and healthier over time. Not only did it support financially, but also just bolstering the practice.
Yeah, awesome. Let's talk about the consults a little bit because a lot of people, myself included, get hung up here. Like, okay, how do I do this in an aligned way that doesn't feel like icky and slimy, but yet I'm still getting clients that say yes and want to work with me?
That was definitely me. I have no prior sales experience, so consults were different for me to walk into. The process that you taught made it very simple. It was very concise, and I knew what to listen for, what questions to ask, to really pull out a conversation, what the client is looking for support with, and even responses of, okay, these are ways that we can meet those goals. And so the consults first started as something daunting when I had, more or less of the perspective of, okay, I have to quote unquote sell this person on yoga therapy. And now they've just become honest, authentic conversation where there is a natural progression into the program because the support that they're looking for they found.
And so with that work right there, what's the practice inside that chiropractic office like now?
It is so different. I think when I met you, I had maybe 1 or 2 clients that were coming like maybe once or twice a month, and it was hard to track them down. Now I'm up to 11 clients that come consistently. Yes, everyone is on a package and people are starting to see the results, and my practitioner skills are growing. So also is my confidence, my ability to be enthusiastic and curious with my clients. It's night and day.
Yeah. And this is in like 4 months. You've done
Yes.
this.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Amazing. And you also just hosted your first live in-person workshop. So congrats on that too. So tell us a little bit about that process and how you felt during it, because sometimes I know I'm an introvert. I was like teaching my first workshops. I was very nervous and kind of shy about it.
So working through your portal and coming on calls and getting structured support of how to build not only the presentation, but also the interaction with the audience and with the people that came was super helpful. By the time I got to the workshop, I was completely confident and it went very well. And I also walked away with a lot of new areas for growth and refinement, which is another skill that I believe that I've really learned from you, is how to refine and how to reflect on every single step that I make in the business.
Yeah. And how's that helped you to like prioritize? Because you're busy, right? And your boss is always throwing things at you to do or teach another class and whatnot. So how do you make it all work and fit in?
I would say there are 2 ways. The first is my own personal practice. As a yoga therapist, I believe that I can't do my work unless I'm taking care of myself, which was a huge reason that I decided to join your program, because you keep the wellness entrepreneur at the seat of their own business. And the second way is kind of looking at that funnel analogy that you gave me of where are the opportunities that will lead to consults, that will lead to building the program, and prioritizing working on those, and then making the other things second or third, and just watching kind of what happens as that structure builds. And as you've taught me as well, like I'm always refining, and I think I will be for the rest of my life. But every step I get a little bit stronger and more confident in that area.
Yeah. With all this, we also had conversations about your schedule and communication with your boss. For example, at one point you were teaching many classes a week and we had to refine that a little bit. So tell us a little bit about that process and how the change is now for you.
When we first started working together, I wasn't really quite sure what I was building yet. And so in my relationship with my boss, that translated as uncertainty and lack of confidence. And over time, as you and I built out the programs, the pricing, the workshops, structure, I became more and more confident in asking for what it was that I needed. And I've found that that's just become a faster process now because I know where we're headed and I feel strong and capable of leading within the yoga therapy space.
So if there is anyone like in your position, they're just graduating from yoga therapy school, they're kind of wondering what to do, and maybe they are unsure of starting their own business and considering working for someone else, or maybe they do want to start their own business. Either way, what advice would you give them?
I think truthfully, the first thing would be to look you up. Absolutely 100%. And then if in that dialogue or in that discussion, if someone came back with any resistance points, I would just ask them to be open-minded and curious and really dream big about what's possible for themselves, graduating from school, building a business, and to book that discovery call with you.
Well, thank you so much for your time and showing up today. Is there any other like parting words of wisdom you want to offer anyone looking to build a practice and if they feel stuck or struggling?
I would say just take a few quiet moments and identify where that stuck point is in your body, your breath, or even in your mind and what thoughts. Jot those thoughts down, book that discovery call, and share those thoughts with Allison.
I love
Just really, that's it. At least since working with you, I don't see as anything as a closed door. There's always something to be learned or somewhere to go from that place.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thanks for all your golden words of wisdom today. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you, Allison. This is a joy to be here, and it's a joy to work with you.
Yeah, you too.